Maui was talking about with both IGLs kind of performing not being sustainable. I honestly don't see that much firepower apart from Simple on Falcons right now. You saw Dupree have a really rough start. Magisk wasn't that great yesterday as well. So I think sAw might actually have the edge in this game.
All right, guys, well, we're about to find out. I'll let you do your thing. Take it away. It's time for the game.
Well, here we go then. Let's strap in for this one. Anubis, back on your screens. If you missed the opening round of the RMR's very first game for Falcons, it was an uncomfortable way to start it, Vince. There was a backstab with the blade. It all went a bit wrong in spawn. It was a nightmare round, and there was a lot of those inside of that game. So they've already played a bit of Anubis. That was against Eclot, barely getting it over the finish line. The 5 HP soaring through the air, simple dive bomb that kept them in the game. And now we're here, of course, in the 1-1 pool. sAw on the CT side. Falcons will be your tease as we get into it. Story already taking map control on the walkout, down to 1 health. He's been seen, tagged, but still alive.
Muterus also forced out of his position, has to sit in Temple and wait for the rest of the troops to arrive. In the time being, the bomb already put down. No grenades on the T's to try and fend off the CTs, but only a flashbang for Roman. Muterus wants to go back out one more time, but they're losing Story, they're losing players. Roman gets one in return, an awkward fight between Muterus and Magisk, but as Magisk then goes in on Con. Down to Roman. No real hope of him clutching this out. Some nice shots being connected by him, but he's been forced and funneled away. And Falcons will claim first blood in this 1-1 matchup.
All roads lead to Roman as Madden will find that one. The Glock puts him to rest, and the pistol round is confirmed. So Falcons start it off on the best foot. That's what you want to see from them on the T side, at least. The bombardment into the site was clean. They win their duels. And last time around, when these two teams went head-to-head, like Dust mentioned, back at ESL Challenger Atlanta, that 13-11 that sAw won, that was a big performance from Dupree. He seems to be a bit of kryptonite against sAw. He sported 24-17 in that matchup, arguably is the reason it was as close as it was.
And interestingly, yesterday when he was playing Anubis, when we were casting him against Eclot, he started really poorly. He was 1-9 at one stage.
Oh, yeah.
And every time the camera went to him, he's a very emotive guy, you know, but he did not look happy at all. Obviously, the smiles did return when they went into OT, they ended up winning it. But there was a fair chunk of time, about 10 rounds or so, where he was just not having a good time whatsoever. So to see him kick off with a 3-0, I was talking about the lack of firepower maybe on this Falcons roster being a problem. That is definitely one way to find a remedy for that potential illness. And now Snappy coming in through on the A side. There's no one home. Going to be a clean, straight up take as the bomb is now traversing through in the hands of Madden and sAw, who are fully committed to the save, barring Roman's Deagle, which was afforded to him really by those 2 picks he got in the opening round. So 2-0, as comfortable and as clean as you like.
Is this a bit of foreshadowing early on as well from Snappy? CT and T side, it was the SMGs where he was really thriving in the carnage, mate. Out towards mid with the MP9 on his CT half. He was going in for fights, picking up some big multi-kills. T side, he's running in with the MAC-10. He was entrying for Falcons and then being able to call from the safety of obviously having the perspective of all the monitors in front of him. It worked out well. A little bit more messy on the exit here, though. The fact they actually steal away a couple of weapons from this isn't the end of the world. I mean, actually, it's not too great for Falcons, obviously, right? You get out of that with the Galil in the back pocket for Agile and the MAC-10 for Roman. You'll take those.
100%, yeah. They came in with a Deagle. They come out of it with a rifle. And Roman, who maybe was going to dip down to an MP9 or something, now just has a little bit more money in his back pocket. So really, all things considered, sAw can take that as a little bit of a success story in round 2, but Falcons can quickly punish them if they're not careful here. And of course, one of the main draws and one of the main attractions of that performance yesterday that we casted was Snappy just going nuclear with mainly SMGs. He loves himself the MAC-10 on this T side, the MP9 on the CT side, and he's having so much success.
Weirdly, in that game as well, it was FaZe, the AWPer for Eclot, that felt like the star AWPer on the server.
Yeah.
Simple, he had some real rough misses with a weapon. Paranoia almost. He was very shaky with the gun, didn't look comfortable at all. It was his rifle, his pistols, and his SMGs that were doing the brunt of the footwork for them.
To be completely honest here, and this may sound bad, if he doesn't pick off that 1v2 jumping MP9 clutch, I honestly think people would have been underwhelmed with his performance yesterday. Yeah. There was a lot of missed AWP shots, as you say. The rifles were really where he was shining a little bit brighter. Meanwhile, Trade through on cams. It's Story and Madden that go back to fourth, and now Agile's stuck in an awkward spot. Precarious down to 61 already, and they're hemorrhaging CTs, but Agile holds on for one more. Oh, it's such a good hold from the Portuguese man, the new recruit, and he goes in for another one. A 3K in the round, supplying Roman the backup he so desperately required, and sAw snatched this round away.
You love the way he's played it as well. Doesn't overface, takes the engagements when he feels comfortable, but more importantly, he's burning time off the clock. He's staying alive, giving his teammates opportunity to rotate into assist. Really nice round from him. And that's how you get your first. You answer the back almost instantly. Obviously, off the back of the weapons you picked up from the previous round, puts him to great use, right? If he doesn't get those 2 exit frags and get himself the Galil, this might not have happened.
I didn't see Muterus so upset. I guess that's when he died, not the end of the round. God damn it, we won the round.
I wanted to lose.
Well, Ujerks and Muterus both off to a 0-3 start. At very early days can easily be recovered. Tons of utility tossed into middle. Both teams given as good as they're getting. Not much left though for Falcons. You consider Simple and Madden already have expended theirs. They still have 3 smokes, which of course is more than enough, but just the one Molotov.
Slow starts have kind of been the expected moments for sAw throughout this RMR so far. Into their matchup versus Unity, they won 38 on Dust 2. It was a 6-6 half. They were losing the game 6-1 originally. So can they start to rev the engines a little bit more, pull ahead early on this one, and stop that from being an outcome? Oh, okay, they bait the crosshair on the jump across towards camera side. That works well, but they don't realize there's a man lurking in the shadows. Muterus with 2 as he replies back. Keep this clean and you'll be damn happy with the outcome. Snappy's the only one left trapped towards A main.
Oh, it's huge in so many different ways, not just the round, but they've also traded up to 2 AK-47s as well on the CT side. In fact, make that 3. Ujerk's just got his hands on 1. A huge boon, a huge boost to the arsenal weaponry, the money in the back pocket. And Snappy may not be long for this world either. Gonna try and hold on for 12 more seconds. He's about to get backstabbed. It's Roman that puts him down. And sAw with a clinical rebuttal from a 2-0 to a 2-2. But man, 4 AKs on the CT side with an AWP. Oof, doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, the dream really, mate. And obviously we were touching on the new man, right, in Agile coming in with the departure of Aros Dose. I said that he was not of the same mindset of the team. Obviously you'd imagine that means maybe he's looking at other options. There's some conflicts there. So we'll see where he ends up. But they also replaced Berry around the same time. So now Golden, the ex-Fnatic man, he's at the helm in terms of the coaching. I feel like Berry did a lot for this team as well in terms of the tactical side of things being brought on. They always had the firepower, but then they got the extra element, 2 sides of the coin to play with in CS. So we'll see if Golden can fill those shoes as well. And what can Falcons get done into the 5th? Deagle for Simple, but already tagged down to 58. You want someone to swing on him. He's looking for an opportunity.
Well, we had the opportunity, but it was brief. Just a glimpse. And Ujerks, who saw multiple players pushing up the canal, is going to toss down that Molotov preemptively. And with mid-control, Muterus at any point can just die from above. Simple does find his man and forces away, but sAw doing their due diligence. They're not overextending for the time being, not getting too apprehensive. They know that the buy for Falcons is incredibly low. Hold on to these weapons, just get another clean, easy round. Replenishing the smokes as well, keeping Falcons at arm's reach. They've played really solidly so far here, sAw. Way more tempered.
Don't give them a look in. Those pistols up close when they swarm you, that's where it can become problematic. So keep it at arm's length. Play for the late round. Ujerks. Spray round the corner. A bit of a laboured one. Can't actually take him down. Roman at least with the spray. There's a bit of damage back, but they're still finding glimmers of success. Only 10 seconds left on the clock, though. So Snappy is forced to plant. And Magisk, he gets one, makes you believe maybe there's something coming out of this round, Vince. But the nade into the back, that's the end of the story.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a rough round, isn't it? Just across the board. I mean, Ujerks to get no kills from that position when you have an E-code, no armored up, full 5 pushing you in con. That's kind of unforgivable, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And it affords them the luxury of bypassing a lot of those cross-angle crossfires and just getting onto the bomb. I mean, the fact they've lost 3 weapons there is so mind-blowing to me. They've lost 3 AKs. They have to replenish in their A1Ss. Significant downgrade. And it hasn't let their economy fully blossom. You've got 3 players still, just over $1,000. That should have been the easiest of rounds. And they played the first 90% of the round kind of perfectly.
It was the easy portion, right? You just need the spray down. Just got to hit your shots, connect it, and clean up. That went wrong for them. No mop and bucket. A lot of messy maneuvers. Tobias across either side going into the 6th. Utility to play with as well for the Falcon squad. And Simple with the spam. Nice tag there. Roman left on 17 HP. Information for Snappy as he peeks down towards the water side, but Story facing it with the AWP. Hits that one. Gives them the advantage early on.
Yeah, concern I also have for Falcons, coming into this game is against Eclot. Their T side, it wasn't a tactical masterclass. It was hyper-aggressive pushes from Snappy in particular through mid, round after round. And Eclot were like, kind of like ice hockey, both throwing the gloves down and just exchanging haymakers straight on the jaw. So we're going to play a very different style of Counter-Strike. And I'm not sure if that's going to favor Falcons with how their T side was looking yesterday. They've already lost Snappy. They've been fended off on middle. 38 seconds. They have to start to try and exploit and make an incursion into the site, but they're being repelled. As Agile and Mutinous both lay down bodies. And although Magisk may get one in return, he finds himself in a 1-on-3 with a flash round the corner. And sAw dial in a 4th consecutive CT round.
And on the camera run out there, my eyes sort of lit up. I'm looking at Madden. I'm thinking back to yesterday. He was a demon in some of these key rounds for Falcons. It felt like he was the one that was giving them sort of, a way in, a pathway. It was his P250, his rifle. He was really clinical on the CT side. But like you touched on, right, that's still a whiles away. That's into the second half. At the minute, a round like that, instantly checked. Vincere is able to put him down. Doesn't find the trades that they wanted. Can't give them the advantage. We saw a lot of these fast plays as well, where they just go for the instantaneous hit towards the A site when they're on a low buy. You get the mollies over the top towards camera, burn out the back of heaven, sprint on in. But Agile's there. This has been his domain.
Molly's being tossed in. There's going to be smokes and flashes behind that as well. Watching for the backstab as well, though. They're very cognizant of the fact there could be a CT wrapping around the spray. A little bit dicey, but no real damage inflicted to Agile as he doubles up. Flashes are good, and Story pummeled and peppered by Simple's Tech 9. Stuck behind the pillar, though, are the T's. Flashbang up and over. Not doing a great deal to deter Ujerks and Mutinous from spraying them down where they stand. And sAw with yet another round. You are seeing a couple of nervy sprays, though. Like Agile there. If that was AKs, he's definitely dead.
It felt like a very sort of, host timescale 0.1 fight. Everything slowed down, went full max pain. And this was the rough part for Simple. He gets out, gets the kill. He's trying to find himself the AWP right behind the pillar. That's where I thought they'd find a bit of stock on the round. Maybe he could make a simple play, but it fell so far away, he couldn't get his hands on it. So he's still stuck with the Tech 9 with low HP, couldn't make a big impact. And they get it back, so they can give it straight back over. Story will wield it again. Sonic has an opportunity to chime in here. Figure out what's going wrong on the T side, where they need to adjust.
Yesterday, they managed to get 6 rounds on their T side in their first matchup, the opener. But most of those were when they broke the economy. They lost the pistol and then won the second round against Eclot and put 5 back-to-back. It was Eclot that made that comeback towards the end of the half when Falcons ran out of ideas. So starting this slow, I think that's exactly why Zonic felt like he had to get included and involved as fast as possible. Also, Roman, Agile, both chipping in for really strong starts to this map. Simply getting up close on A main, but there is a Molotov there to greet him.
And this means in this 1-1 BO1, we'll get to see sAw playing with confidence as well, because obviously, like I was saying, it's been a bit of a slower start. They've had to find comebacks off the back of rough openings into games. Here you're leading. And this is even with the reset, where Falcons took the pistols at the second round. The 2 exit frags made a world of difference. It brought Agile into the forefront of the game. Madam, he's on the push up towards the smoke, parks himself inside of mid. Major looking for the run out again here as well. You've conditioned them to believe you're always peeking on the right hand side of the pillar towards water. So a few flashes thrown in, re-smoke comes over, it's going to run the clock down.
Yeah, time almost becoming a 6th member of sAw. In fact, it's them that decide to take the initiative, and it's a trade back and forth. Madden elsewhere on the map through on middle. Threaded the headshot onto Story, but they've lost control over B main. Runs straight into Roman. And deals the death damage to him too. sAw, like, really picking up the pace, but it feels a bit strange at this kind of time on the clock for those players to be the engaging ones.
It means that for Falcons, they can fast drop out through mid and go for the run up through dark into the bomb site. Important kills there from Snappy and Madden. Agile, the star player. Will he shine bright in the 1v3? Runs out, still moving. Bullet slaps the face of Snappy, but Simple on the reply puts him down. And considering the start they had into that round, feels like it unraveled very quickly.
Yeah, it's a puzzling one, isn't it? Like, I almost feel like because they had a lack of utility, they felt a bit compelled and maybe pressured to try and make plays, but I mean, you had so many players left alive. You were in good positions. The time was starting to run dry. It's a bit of a head scratcher. Either way, sAw not going to get too tilted about it. Call a tactical timeout. They have more than enough funds to go for another buy again. They're just making sure they're all on the same page. I mean, I suppose it's one of those kind of coin flips where if they come out and they get 2 or 3 clean kills, they look like geniuses. It's like, oh, they're conditioning Falcons and throwing them out of the comfort zone, but I think it's mainly confusing for me. Like pushing B main makes sense. You get the kill, you back off. When Roman then decides to go all the way around the back of middle, that's where I'm kind of confused. Maybe the call, maybe like there was a bad comm, like they're about to hit A, I heard footsteps outside of A main, and they try to go for a quick rotation and flank them, but whichever way you spin it, totally backfires.
Blew up in their face there. Falcons get another one on the board with actual rifles. First 2 were a bit of a different power struggle in terms of the buys between both sides. Story still has the scope in play though. AWP available for him. That's out towards mid early, but 2 smokes back over. Agile left as the sole defender deep on A main. It's Magisk on the receiving end potentially. Molly goes over the top. Ooh, spam in. Divine intervention. Doesn't take a single lick of damage. Even the flash whizzes by him. So he's getting a big read on this and has the confidence to start walking up. He could make a huge play late round. And Story, he's stalling it. Finds one clean connection. There's the double up. Oh, into the triple as well. Agile.
Yeah, that was sick. For everything that was odd about the last call, when they got completely dismantled, that makes way more sense. So much noise was being pressured over on the B side, and Agile, he heard the footsteps of the play, throwing the flash, actually just backed away and followed him in. Really great spray transfer though on this 3rd kill, especially onto Magisk. 13 kills for Agile already. And this is kind of why I said in that pre-game segment, I am a bit nervous about Falcons. How much firepower do they have across the 5 players? I feel like sAw has just way more moving pieces that can tee off at any point.
Yeah, I mean, there was like 2 crazy rounds in their opening game versus Eclot that they should have lost realistically. That would have meant they went down 0-1 in regulation. They limped through it barely. survived in the overtime, but here we're seeing shades of their T side once again. Or it feels like there's gaps. They can't quite convert certain rounds. You get the early opener on the push out towards the B side. Dupree's able to pick up the AK, so it's still in play. Ujax as well. So they take the fight to him on Dark. Very low HP. It's the MAC-10 of Snappy. Madden as well, sporting the same weapon. If they run on in, you could trade that kill so quickly.
Yeah, normally in a position like this, Ujax would be waiting for a pop flash to peek, but no one's in position to do that right now. Story is close with the flash, but he's mainly watching the main side with the AWP. 40 seconds. At some point, Falcons need to make a move, need to make a decision and follow through with it. Looks like B side is going to be where the target is painted. They don't check the angles. Only the one kill. It could have been a lot worse. But out into the open they come, and Story is blocking this one down with his AWP. 3 kills back to back, sending Falcons cartwheeling out of the round.
The end of Falcons on that one. The Story puts pen to paper, and the AWP is what collapses upon them. Technical timeout here into the 11th. Man, Snappy on the walkout, clearing towards the right-hand side, doesn't suspect the close angle in play. Ujax able to get one off the back of it, and then the AWP just sings all the way through the round.
Yeah, it's such a powerful position if you don't have the utility to block it out. You know, you want to throw a Molotov in there, a smoke for the cross. This is a moment where, I mean, it's maybe harsh to simple to say this, but you kind of expect him to pick up both kills. They went 1-for-1 trades back to back, but this really is the play here for Story. Agile doing a great job as well of fending them away and focusing their attention on Temple, which allowed Story to really fully flourish. Second timeout already called by Falcons. And when you consider as well that coming into this game, it's 7-3, but 2 of those 3 rounds were off the back of the pistol. There's been 1 rifle round won by Falcons this entire half. 7-3s may be a little bit favorable to them, really, and how things have been going overall.
Yeah, that's what puts it into perspective so much more. Difference in the vibe as well. Roman going absolutely ballistic, the energy's there, and I mean, fair play, right? Throughout history, for so many of these players on sAw, you've had heartbreak. You've had really rough near misses at RMRs. So many what-if moments. And then, of course, they finally found success. They were able to sink their teeth in, make it to their first major. And right now, with the 1-1 bracket, we know how important these games can be. Put you 2-1, you still got a damn good chance of making it to Shanghai for the perfect world major. The game's live again, though. Round 11 in play. Some concessions made for Falcons in terms of the buy off the back of the cash flow problems to free Galil. But it does afford them the luxury of a few extra bells and whistles with the utility.
Another demoralizing element of this T-half as well is this entire half, they've only had 2 bomb plants, one of which was the second round they won. And then in round 5, they had a bomb plant which was defused. Apart from that, no plants even. It's not just a case of it's been super close 1v1, 2v2s. No, it's been a pretty open shot case for the bulk of these T rounds on Falcons. A map that typically lends itself towards T dominancy, but in this round it's Agile once again kicking things off. Good, a well-placed flash, and HG will get the better of Magisk. And they just have to back away. They've got a Molotov and a smoke. 45 seconds. Although Madden gets a kill, there's more where that came from. They nearly lined up for a spray. But they make amends for Ujax's life. And Story dips back in again. Simple gets caught. Will get the first kill fairly cleanly. I think faking as if he dropped down there on the bridge, trying to draw one of these other mid players out into the open. Molotov designated over on the con area. Out into the open will come Roman, and he gets punished as a result, but it was never going to work in Simple's favor once he was tagged down. Agile is not missing right now with these rifles. 8-3 the score, and sAw have run away with this half.
Yeah, this has been a real blitzing. And it was nice with Agile as well. Knew he had slowed Magisk enough with the spam of the bullets slowing him down on the escape there, so he gets the deep HE in. commits to that one. And you saw simple recoil on the player cams as well. Looked up in the air, the frustration of it.
Yeah, he did. That's the thing, they said this on the desk as well. Like, they looked in good spirits, like everyone's happy. Yeah, but when you start losing,
it's not the same, is it?
It's a different story. Yeah, especially with players like Simple. He's not a very happy man when he's losing.
He had some instant classics yesterday. There were some good one-liners coming out from him. He's been workshopping his material for his comedy shows. You know, you got to have it in the back pocket just in case, mate.
Molotov's down. Agile this time is plucked out. The invasion seems to be going swimmingly for Falcons finally. But that is only half of the test. Getting the bomb plant is one thing, but with 2 players pretty low. And 4 sAw members that have to go in for this last round of the half, of course, with quite a bit of utility. They're going to be going in from heaven sooner rather than later.
Oh, 2-player peek on the stairs. Roman trying to edge round the corner. Him and Gutierrez might activate together, but there's no real room for the play, and it all goes wrong. Dupree, 3 clean connections there, brings himself up to a 7-9 individual score. And they do squeeze the 4th round out of it. Actually gives them a ton more to play with. Would have been a far worse for wear scoreline. You go through that 9-3, lose a pistol. Suddenly head in hand sort of rounds. So it means a lot they find that one. But still, in terms of the half, sAw looking very, very clean. The rifle rounds were all theirs. It felt like there was only a couple of mishaps. Outside of that, Vince looking damn good.
100%. I think you kind of look at that half for sAw and you're very happy. If you're in their camp, you're feeling very confident about how things went. Their aim seems on point, like Agile was popping off, but really 3 players come into that second half at double digits or better. Not a single player can say the same thing over on Falcons. Top fragger is Magisk on 8. Dupree and Snappy both down at 4 apiece. Now this is where we get to see how that entry duo of Ujerks and Agile is going to flourish or maybe fumble on this T side. This you feel is going to be a real test, but only having 4 rounds doesn't give Falcons much room for error. And they're going to go for dual deagles, or dual Julies, I should say.
Julie watch enjoyers strap in for this one. Simple and Snappy. We saw something similar in their opening game. Snappy was really crisp with it. They can be dominant weapons if you spam down, overwhelm the players. Dupree, he's going for the little jiggles out, bit of a read on the round, but they've got quite close. If they keep his attention in the back line, Ujerks can swing in. Crosshairs going wibbly wobbly. Down goes Dupree. Ujerks with the entry. They expect him to be close by, but do they realize about the flank? It's Agile that's holding for it. You come out the window, but straight down to your grave, and here's the pressure being thrown at them. Magisk struggling in the 1v1. Overwhelmed. And it's only Simple left, miles away at the barn.
1 on 5. This would have to be vintage Simple to even get close. Smokes in his eyes. Tons of enemies to contend with and no real idea as to which positions they've picked. And to make matters worse, he is being flanked as well. Ujerks getting around the back after 3. Immediate goosh. Simple will go down without much of a fight. And the lifeline that Falcons potentially had has been ripped away. And drifts with the current. I love that play as well, by the way. Agile this here. Just waiting and anticipating the windows drop. Completely cuts out any possibility of a flank. Hit him 15 times? What? Is that what he just said?
I think so.
I hit him 15 times. Well,
it's not enough. Need 100 to kill. Ooh, story. Straight back in. The can opener of a Galil taking the head clean off a Simple. And this is sAw. Already being able to find success going into the second half. You take the pistol, convert this one. You're dangerously close already here.
Hey, this is a declaration performance by sAw. Like, Arisdose who? He got Agile. And he's popping off right now. He's making a point. Don't want to get too overconfident though. It's a rough spray from Dupree on the MP9, but finally gets his man. And seeing so many bodies over on B, they're going to fast-track their way over onto the A side. But they still have to deal with Major's going to deagle, and Snappy up close with a 5-7. Snappy, head removed immediately alongside Magisk. From a 3v4, suddenly only 2 players remain on Falcons, one of which is exceptionally low in the form of Madden. And it looks like they're already posting up for a save. It looked like they slipped over a banana peel and face planted, but sAw do recover.
It took some nice fights. Made you think there was room for Falcons in that round. But less snappy, more tappy as that one is picked up by sAw. The shot straight back onto Magisk and him. Clean up the defense towards the A site. And they get exactly what they wanted out of this. They're going to 10 now. Even with a 2-weapon save for Falcons, sure, you've got a bit of extra buy going into it. But you need rounds. That's the hot commodity. sAw are just being able to get them in droves. For contrast as well, right? You think about sAw. 4 of the 5 players have attended 1 major in their career. Agile is looking for his debut. That's against the 48 major appearances for the 5 players on Falcons.
That's a crazy stat, isn't it? It just goes to show that times move. Times are changing, and sAw looking to body bag Falcons. It would put them into a 1-2 bracket matchup. They're on the brink. Falcons shaking. sAw could just land the KO blow soon. This round should be a bit of a formality. I mean, there's 2 rifles in play with some deagles, but not much else in terms of utility. And sAw taking their sweet time. Uterus almost getting himself into a fight there on Con, but thinks better of the decision, just backs away for the time being. We saw they were very patient on their CT side when they knew they had the advantages. Just locking down middle. Looks like Story wants to get aggressive behind that with you, Jerks. And Falcons playing way more deep passive angles and hoping and praying that sAw make a mistake.
There's been a couple of them. One was irrecoverable in the first half. Madden. That's what I wanted to see, his CT side. It was a huge portion of Falcons' winnings against Eclot. Oh, Magisk looking a little bit shaky, but snappy right on target with a 5-7. Roman, however, has other ideas in mind for the 15th round. Out through mid-side, picks up a 2-piece already, armed with the AK. Throws the clip in. Can he slay from far away as time is starting to tick off the clock? He knows where the bomb is, but he's got to recover it. Snappy can play off it. And Simple, he's just got to stay alive on the back of the bomb site. Roman, you've seen the head. Takes the engagement, wins it. 12 seconds now. Time's ticking away. Snappy, he's holding for the info. Wants to hear the peek, go for the swing. Tries to tuck in on the back of the site. Tap the bomb, force the face, go for the swing, back out, but Snappy's ready. And by the skin of his teeth, the IGL of Falcons gives them a 5th round.
Again, though, it's a moment of individual brilliance from their IGL that digs them out of this hole. 5-7 up close, no flashes preceding the push, and that's what happens. He gets splattered by a 5-7. And Roman, it's a really valiant attempt. So 1v4 takes it down into a 1-on-1. So it doesn't allow Falcons to pick up that many rifles as a result. Their economy is okay to keep going forward, but they don't have an AWP in play. Not much money in reserve either. Hence sAw on that force buy, and they're just going to run and gun it straight across onto the B site. The Tech 9 is good, and Uterus dethrones Madden. Stuck behind the smoke as well. Surely Falcons don't concede instantly into this round after picking a little bit of steam up. Simple's keeping himself activated in this round and needs the help as the Molotov straight in their eyes. Have to just hold fire for the time being. And enough time has elapsed off the defuse that they have to save. They get success. They snatch a round away and then taste defeat again.
And it goes to show, last round it really was the skin of his teeth, right? He gets through it. In those small instances, the 1v1 where time's tight, you've got to swing out, you hit the shot. It's already an 11th round. Coming into this one, they play with the pace, hit them heavy. And it's been the consistency for sAw that again rears its head. Another round to the greater, 11-5. Forced into a save where you physically cannot afford for any of those weapons to be taken out of the CT's hands. It'll give them a way back in going in here. But it's been shaky, Vince. It's not looked clean whatsoever. It's been sort of dominating in a lot of these rounds. The individuals popping off, Agile, giving a great case for himself, showing that he does wear those size 14 shoes.
Also, a quick shout out as well to Agile that's not just got the 18 kills, 5 multi-kill rounds and 102 ADR coming into this round, but a play that's gone under the radar just a tad because of how brightly the rest of his teammates are shining is Story. He's got 5 opening duels in his favor. He's cracked open the rounds 5 times so far. Everyone is pulling their weight on sAw. There's not one straggling member behind. Sure, maybe Mutrus isn't hitting the dizzying heights of the 1.35 ratings. He doesn't need to. He shouldn't be. He's calling a great game.
And with a ton of talent on his roster, set them up for success. Talking of which, this is where Snappy was able to do a ton of damage last time we saw him on Anubis. He plays very aggressive with the MP9, he'll take fights. And he was winning a ton of them previously. This time it's just delay tactics, chip damage, Molotovs, burn time off the clock, make it a bit more uncomfortable. Split push on the setup as well. Bomb going out towards the A site. Major's trying to defend, tons of damage but can't convert it. Meanwhile as well, Roman's finding the headshot onto Simple. And Snappy, this would be a round to show us what you can do.
He's got the MP9, he loves this weapon. Many a times yesterday, he thwarted pushes with this very gun. And this could be another time. He's forced him away from A at least. 23 seconds, Dupree. Oh, I was going to say, how's he not been spotted by Mutrus? He was hiding right underneath his nose, and Madden comes in, but it's only the 1 kill. And Snappy's in no position to stop this plant. And ideally, as much as it sucks, probably should save. Their money is going to be garbage in the next round. This M4 would be worth a huge amount more. He does have a kit, though, that could bait him back into this, but already half of the timer is gone, and I think he's just made the realization of, no, I can't go for this. I have to save the M4, but that puts sAw onto 7 match points.
Coming into the Perfect World EU RMR, sAw's opening game against Sinners. They lost 13-11 on Vertigo. It was a rough start versus Unity that they converted into a 13-8 win. And now in the 1-1 pool, with one more round, sAw could shut down the Falcons, push themselves into the 2-1 portion, and make it far harder for Falcons to attempt to make the major, make them sweat for it. And they're looking good right now. Like you said as well, the cash is problematic. Reinvestment comes back out. Madden with the MP9. Same can be said for Snappy. Third of the tactical pause is used, so Zonic can get involved, but what can you really say? How do you fix this?
As bad as it is right now, imagine Snappy died.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it would be horrendous. Yeah, honestly, I don't envy Sonic's position right now. I don't know what the hell you'd be saying to the troops on the CT side. It's just been a complete catastrophe. And you got Simple bottom fragging. 7 kills. No big impact as you maybe expect. Only the 1 opening duel, but he's lost out 3 times in opening duels. I mean, sAw have just been levels above in this game. Levels.
You think about the AWP plays we've seen inside of this map, it's been all Story. He's the one that's been hitting the big connections, finding impact with a big green gun. It's just been green with envy for Falcons. And into the 18th, you've got a tall task ahead of you. No mistakes can be afforded. It's got to be a clean sheet the whole way through. They're thinking about overtime, and that's still so far away in terms of the round scoreline. sAw, grouping up, carpet side towards the A site. Tons of nades to play with. 27 seconds on the clock as the smokes are starting to go on over. Magis, it's been rough for him on the defense, and he'll be tested again.
So many mollies and flashes thrown around. He's going to be fully blinded. And although he pops up for a couple moments to breathe, Story chokes him out with the AK. Could be the final play of this very map. And Falcons in so much trouble once more. Dupree and Madden against 4. And Dupree's position is going to be checked by Story. He's watching from heaven. In fact, there's 2 different angles, 3 now. They've got the agile position put into place. And there it is, the shutdown. One of the easiest games that sAw will probably play at the RMR. And they've got it done 13-5.
Well, sAw bouncing back, Falcons in the building, and, you know, the problems with Falcons just kind